When the London Overground was created in 2007, it served to stitch together and breathe new life into various underutilised routes in and around London. One of these was the Little London Underground line out east. Unloved, underused, with a fascinating secret past, and featuring at its core an amazing piece of British engineering history. One that was very nearly lost forever. Now it enjoys a new lease of life as a thriving commuter route, but it still has so many great stories to tell. So today, we tell those tales of the original Orange Line, the East London Line. Hello people of the internet, it's the latest episode of Another Station, Another Mile. I'm back out and today I'm in South London, which is kind of-ish my home turf. And I'm here to look at a section of what is now the London Overground that for many years was kind of unloved, but kind of fascinating. It's a bit like the Northern City Line, similar sort of vibes. And for this one, I've not got one guest, I've got two, because evidently I need two. One is one you'll recognise from the Northern City Line video, it's John! There he is, back in the closest t-shirt to match there. And we've also got Vader, hello!
Hi.
New to the show, this is epic. Come on, get in shot.
Former.
Yeah, get in shot. Hang on, we can do this. One side.
Other side.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Yeah, squat up. Right, so we're at New Cross Gate, which is one of the southern ends of the line, although at the moment it's not because...
No, it goes through now.
It goes through, it never used to, but we're on the platform that used to be a terminating platform for this line.
Train now approaching platform.
Oh, I'm getting really bored of that tunnel.
Well, that's what's approaching the overground.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Shall we get on that then?
Should.
Yeah. Shall we?
We're going southbound?
I think we're going northbound.
We need to go up and over then.
Wrong platform.
We start our journey at New Cross Gate, one of the two southern termini of the East London Line in its original form, and where the line originally ended in the south. But hang on, you're saying, but doesn't it go on to West Croydon and Crystal Palace? I can tell you're already confused, so let's take a deep breath, because the genesis of the East London Line isn't exactly what you'd call simple. We start back in 1865, where a consortium of 6 separate railway companies came together to build one line to link them all, and under the Thames guide them. The line aimed to connect all 6 companies together: the London Brighton and South Coast Railway at New Cross Gate, the South Eastern Railway at New Cross, the Great Eastern Railway up at Liverpool Street, the London Chatham and Dover Railway over at London Bridge, and the Metropolitan and District Railways at Whitechapel. Ambitious? Well, yeah, which is why the line opened in small stages. First came New Cross Gate to Wapping in 1869, then a branch of the London Chatham and Dover Railway in 1871, then the northbound extension to Shoreditch via Whitechapel in 1876, which also connected to the Great Eastern Railway at Liverpool Street. You still keeping up over there? Then the New Cross Spur in 1880, before finally a curve to link the Metropolitan and District lines at Whitechapel in 1884. It then became part of London Underground in 1933, then London Overground in 2007. You got all that? Good. You'll be tested on that knowledge later. Starting at New Cross Gate, there are things to look out for right away. The East London Line was originally used to run freight through a yard out of New Cross Gate up until 1962, and the abandoned remains of this freight yard can easily be seen from platform 1. And as we start our journey northbound, we arrive at our first stop northbound, Surrey Quays, or Deptford Road as it was originally called, or Surrey Docks as it was known until 1989. Nothing's ever simple with this line, is it? Right, so we're at the first stop sort of northbound on the line, north of the New Crosses anyway. There's a pigeon flies past behind us, it's very nice. And right from here onwards, you start to get a sense of the history of this line, because like even though there was refurbishment work in the late 90s on this line, and the whole thing had a sort of upgrade to be closed. 2007 was it?
Yeah,
2007. Yeah. I love these like pillars and girders in the middle of the station. That is the original design. Yeah, but it just sort of looks a bit weird because the buildings that run across it don't quite match up. You know what I mean? It's kind of intriguing.
That's the refurb for that.
Yeah. But it's amazing how much original stuff has survived. Like the only real refurb stuff is there's some grating over there, isn't there? That's about it. And because this is the London Overground, there's trains every 3 minutes, so our train's arriving right now. I literally pressed record as the last one left. That's how regular they are.
That's good.
Next up north is Canada Water, opened in 1999 as part of the Jubilee Line extension. The very modern architecture and rebuilt structures contrast sharply with the other stops on the East London Line, and it sits a short distance between Surrey Quays and our next stop northbound at Rotherhithe. How close? Well, this close. Right, we're at the next stop, northbound on the line at Rotherhithe, but Vader, there's a problem.
I think we're missing someone.
We've lost John. I don't know how that's happened, but I know we've lost him because we can actually see him from the platforms here. We're at Rotherhithe, and then up there is the northern end of the Canada Water platforms. We'll just wait for him to get the next train up, shall we?
Yeah, good idea.
In the meantime, though, there is plenty to look at here. This is a very pretty station, isn't it?
Yeah.
Another very pretty one. This is also where the line really gets interesting from our perspective, because this is at the southern end of the Thames Tunnel.
Yeah.
So right up there, northern end of the station, is where the Thames Tunnel starts.
I know.
It'll get very interesting from here on in. Hello, there he is! We found him. Perhaps the single most fascinating part of the line, the Thames Tunnel is nothing short of extraordinary. First started in 1825 and finally opened in 1843, it was the product of a Brunel father-son tag team. Sir Mark Isambard designing the tunnelling shield and overseeing the project, and son Isambard Kingdom taking on chief engineer duties. Multiple setbacks followed, including several floods, one of which nearly killed Brunel Jr. in 1828. And even post-opening in 1843 as a pedestrian tunnel and tourist attraction, it wasn't a huge financial success and gained a rather tawdry criminal reputation. Noticing the unusually high headroom, originally designed to allow horse-drawn carriages, the East London line had the idea to transform it into a rail tunnel. And that's exactly what they did, to excellent success. The original construction shaft at the southern end is visible from the surface at Rotherhithe, as is the nearby Brunel Museum inside the original engine house for the tunnel. Meanwhile, the shaft at the northern end of the tunnel now holds Wapping Station, quite possibly my favourite station on the line. Right, so we're now on the north side of the river, Thames, that is. It's just there. It's literally just over there.
Some fences.
That's the Thames. We're on the northern side of it. We were just on the south side of it, which means we're now at Wapping Station, which means we're at the north end of the Thames Tunnel. Honestly, this is probably my favourite station on the line, though. This is lovely. Just the station building itself is really like. It's a relatively modern building, I believe. I want to say it was
when the building was built, but yeah, it looks almost Art Deco-y.
So it's not the original building, but it is very nice, and it has a kind of Charles Holden influence to it, with a sort of circular. I think it's Arnold's Grove. That's one of those old school kind of. Yeah, very that sort of vibe. And there's a lot to explore down at platform level. There's some lovely like signs on the platform level along the walls, which tell the
freezes, yeah.
Freezes, yeah, that's it.
The station history over the years.
Yes, that's the one. That's the one.
Up until when the station was refurbed in the 90s.
Yes, yeah, some lovely artwork. This is very niche. One of my favourite things about this station. My first. Do either of you remember the PS2 game Stuntman?
Didn't play it, but I know of it.
I know it.
The first mission in that game, because you were basically a movie stuntman. First mission in that game, you were doing like a Guy Ritchie gangster film called Toothless in Wapping. Oh, so whenever I come here, I'm like, well, I have teeth. I'm not toothless in Wapping. So there you go. Wapping is full of nods to its past at both station and platform level, and gives the best view of trains entering and exiting the Thames Tunnel. This is a view that could easily have been lost in 1995, when London Underground works on the line could have seen the tunnel sprayed with concrete to cheaply seal it in, and have the Brunel's 150-year-plus architecture decimated forever. Thankfully, after many protests, it was declared a Grade 2 listed structure on the 24th of March 1995, the day the restoration work was due to commence. 24 years on, and a full 176 years after it first opened, the Thames Tunnel happily lives on. Onwards we went via Shadwell and Whitechapel, trying to spot the old St Mary's curve in the process. This was a curve of track that linked what are now the District and Hammersmith and City lines to the East London line for London Underground stock movements. Decommissioned during the overground works, the curve is very hard to spot now. We missed it, but maybe you can do better. Anyway, on now to our final stop on the line, the northern terminus at Shoreditch. Except, hang on a minute, this isn't it. So we've just got off at Shoreditch High Street, which is the original terminus of the East London line, except it's not the terminus
station.
And it's not the original station either. To find the original station, we've got to go exploring. The current Shoreditch High Street station was built when London Overground took over the line in 2007 as part of an extension up to Highbury and Islington. Oh hello Northern City Line. To find the original Shoreditch station, we had to go exploring. It's not exactly easy to find these days. Okay, so now we're at the old terminus of the line at Shoreditch, except There's not really much to suggest that there ever was a station here.
TfL really need to clean that station up.
They do. There's the station building right there, and what we're actually standing on right now are the tracks. This has all been infilled.
This may cause some delays.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Maybe. It's alright. Trains aren't running again until at least another 3 hours. That's when Shoreditch got his trains in the peak hours.
Oh yeah, it never got much of a service even back in the day, did it?
And Sunday mornings.
Sunday mornings
Sunday
for the local
1
market.
PM.
For the local market,
For
right?
Brick Lane.
Yep.
Brick Lane.
And so when they redone the line in 2007, they built that up there, which now runs to the new Shoreditch High Street, and then round onto the old Broad Street Kingsland Viaduct via Hoxton. And they just filled this in, which is wild given that I've been here before. I was here years ago before I even knew about any of this. You were just saying a moment ago how you've been here and you'd never have guessed. The only thing that gives away that tracks were here is that there's some like bricks in the ground over there.
From the old retaining wall.
It's the top of the old retaining wall.
Which is, well, some of it's there.
Literally just over there.
That red bit there.
Yeah. Just over there. It's hard to imagine what used to be here right underneath our feet. So I've included some links in the description of this video so you can see some photos of what the station used to look like. I'll tell you what, the most obvious way to spot that there used to be something here is if we get a train out of Liverpool Street.
To Liverpool Street.
Onwards! If you take a train out of Liverpool Street Station, look to your right and see if you can spot where the original tracks used to branch off to join the East London line and the original station building bridging over the now long gone tracks still is. That's where passenger services and freight used to run from Liverpool Street onto the East London line via the original Shoreditch station. With our odyssey nearly over, we headed back south to visit the other southern terminus of the line, down at New Cross. Right, so we're down at New Cross, not New Cross Gate. They are two separate stations.
Walking distance.
Within walking distance from each other, yes. And that's the end of our jaunt on the East London line. It's been a fun day.
Yeah.
Weather's cooperated with us in the end.
We've lost a person.
We have lost a person. You may notice John's, he did have to depart this time. We didn't lose him, honest. But you were particularly fascinated with the Thames Tunnel, I've got to say.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's a special thing. I love the fact that, especially at Wapping, you can literally just, from the end of the platform, it's like, it's right there. It's this piece of history.
Yeah.
Marking,
see where the tunnel
you know,
used to be.
this Brunellian piece of greatness, you know, one of the first great projects. And the whole line to me is really fascinating. And it's cool that it's had a sort of second lease of life as part of the overground network, you know?
A lease of life.
Yes, yeah. It's not just one of these things that's faded into obscurity. It's actually got a second wind, and it's actually transporting millions of passengers.
Way more people.
Yeah. You've got to get this back, haven't you?
Yep, all the way back.
Good luck. Thank you for being on the show, though.
Yeah, no worries.
And it's been another station, another mile. We'll see you next time.
Bye.